Hello, everybody. This is Love from Above by your Sibling Spirit Guides. I'm Maureen, and this is my brother.
Hey, Maureen. Hey, everyone. This is Brian.
Hello, Brian. We're so happy to be here. If you can believe it, on this podcast, we share daily channelings we receive from star beings, ascended masters, mythical beings who really exist, and occasionally our ancestors. And today's topic is the illusion of time. Brian, we really do know that time is illusory. I mean, aren't there moments of time that seem to stretch forever? Forever. I'm doing these new exercises that are kind of difficult, and they're 30 seconds of duration. And I swear, like 30 seconds is 5 minutes. And other times, like the time just disappears. So, yeah, this is a really interesting podcast. We're going to put together a number of channelings that relate to the illusion of time from our archives. What are your thoughts, brother?
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of hard to grasp some of this stuff that we'll get into, but it's a consistent message, and we've read about this, and so I think it's something that I'm fascinated by, and I'm always trying to learn more about, but I think it's really interesting.
Yeah, so I'll kick us off with the first one, which is from September 26, 2024. And this is about the illusion of time and reuniting with the one. Hello, we are indeed present. Relax deeply. Still one's brain is still a great achievement to realize the fruitfulness, the joys of everlasting life. We come forth now. We watch over humanity and have done so since the birth of time. We are the watchers. We are tasked with recording the elemental occurrences that frequently erupt on your planets. Time is a subject matter for the day. Time can bend. Time can move. Time is not a stationary fixed object in your world where ultimately time is an illusion. You may bend time to your wishes or command it to evaporate, allowing you to be timeless in a moment. To escape time is the ultimate objective to become your timeless, eternal self. Heaven is on earth once you realize this ultimate goal. The first step to becoming timeless is to stop recording time, to stop noticing when the clock chimes, the sun sets, the sun rises from your premises. For what does this serve but to keep you tied to the dimension of time and space? We urge you to, and then here I saw what they wanted me to do. They said to just put a post-it note over your phone where it displays the time. They said this is wise for all beings are eternal and timeless. Should they care to remember their origins? In one moment, we bring forth another. So before we go on to the other, Brian, wow, you know what it reminds me of that? Remember we read that book on quantum jumping?
Hmm.
And wasn't that woman like she would just be like a master for time? Like, oh, I need more time I slept in late to go to the airport. I need more time. Let's spend time. And do you remember that, or was that another
Yeah,
book?
and there's other books I read that the same thing. You can ask time to go faster or slower, like if you depending on what your sort needs are. And I forget to do that, but so I have tried that and it does seem to work. So, but the other thing is, yeah, the aware of being aware of time. I mean, I'm not really obsessed about it, but I do still have a job where I do have like meetings at certain times, so I do have to during the day be aware of the time. But other than that, I really you know, don't focus on it. But for me, it's hard to totally abandon, looking at the clock. But I get the point. It seems pretty interesting.
Well, Brian, I have to tell you, I do look at the clock. So,
Oh,
I'm very organized and I like to be moving at a certain progress. But if you think about it, if I become skilled at bending time, then watching time all the time doesn't really matter. And I think about, yeah, I mean, you're attaching yourself when you do look at the clock and you look at the time, you're attaching yourself to that reality when ultimately, when we become, who we are meant to be, our eternal selves, we're in a timeless moment, like they said.
Yeah, exactly. And not only that, I mean, th I do get messages. I mean, a lot of times I don't look at the clock that often, but when I do, I mean, not every time, of course, but I mean, a lot of times I do look and it just happens to be 11:11 or something like that. You know what I mean? So it's sort of a nice message to see that you're getting some angel numbers or something like that that are a positive message.
Yeah, yesterday when I was looking at the time, it was always, I keep military time, so it was like 15:51, which when I see a number like that, I take that I'm in balance because those numbers are in balance, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Or like 15:15. But yeah, I love to look up the numbers and I love to receive messages and numbers. But I'll go on with this other person who comes forward. So this often happens. We start to channel with one set of beings and another set of beings come forward. So this being says, I come forth now. There is nothing to do. Then they said some word I don't know, is a diversion from the true task of reuniting with the one. In truth, all is one intuitive connection to what you must remember as the ultimate goal of this project. It is not the personal fulfillment of one being, but the everlasting attainment of the glory of the one through many utilized species. We come forth now. Now we press onward with the true matter of our message. Do you see the difference in our ability to communicate? There is this. All beings are but one, reflected in the everlasting light of the one. Say you were to choose a pebble from an infinite pebbled beach. One might be different from another, more round, more smooth, more vibrant, when the truth is they have all been formed at the same time and are similar CAD. The same is true with all beings. The experiences may be different. The physicality of being may look eschewed from one to another, but the heart, the soul, the infinite resonance of the Almighty is always the same. We trust in you. Placidly record these messages for future posterity. We can come forth at any time to anyone. The key is the relaxation of the mind and the stillness of the body in the proper position. So I'll just say right now, for me, the proper position is laying down flat. Your mind is deeply attuned with ours. We see now the future possibilities of our endeavors through the lens of your infinite portal. So, yeah, I love that analogy. And especially at a time right now where I feel like there's a lot of divisiveness in the world, whatever being that we're all different pebbles on the same beach, you know what I mean? We all come from the same infinite one. There's small variations, but it's, when viewed from the whole, we're basically all one thing.
Yeah, Maureen, that's a great message. That definitely resonates about being the pebble, that we're all like pebbles on the beaches in this divisive times. The other thing that I thought was interesting is how it says record these messages for future posterity, which of course we're doing. So, and yeah, so I think both those messages are, really interesting. Any other thoughts from you?
Yeah, I just really, I think the bigger message from this is obviously the time. And I think the more that you're tied to time, whether it's looking through the clock or, timing your sessions or whatever it is, I mean, it really is like putting yourself on a leash. And this is a way that I really want to grow too. I actually thought about this last night, Brian. I woke up in the middle of the night, and normally I would wake up and I would like look and see what time it is. What does it matter? like I'm going back to bed. It doesn't matter if it's 1 a.m. or 3 a.m. Like I'm going back to bed. It makes no difference. So yeah, I almost feel like it's really pulling me into something that I don't want to be attached to. So I need to be cognizant of that.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'll go on the next message from April 15th of 2025. Interesting concept of time, space being limited. So, dearest one, we cover you with the emblem of our united souls. Do you feel our presence, but fail to hearken our guidance? We wish for you to look upon the square where you are sequestered. There is much activity for you to serve and learn from. We delight in these days when you want to understand the deeper mechanics of the wisdom of the ages. You are indeed fortunate to live the life you enjoy. The sacred places you have visited will embody a resonance. And then I don't know if you said you see, what did you see something that with the
Yeah,
resonance?
I saw like a hospital, like if you were in a hospital, an IV going into your arm.
Okay. Yeah. So similar to the IV of your hospital, the sacred sites provide nourishment to the eternal part of the human body. We resist the urge to correct your misadventures, but know we are endearingly present to guide the way. What misadventures? We wish for you to walk with purpose. That is all we shall say. At this time, there are others who wish to discuss numerical phrases. So let me pause there. So, Maureen, you got to walk with purpose. You can't just be lollygagging around, Maureen. So I don't know. Is that what they're trying to say?
Yeah, and it's interesting because we just recently recorded something about that, about, is it in alignment with your modus operandi? Like you've got one stream to focus on. Is, and you've really got to be focused. All of your activities in that day should be aligned with that, what you're supposed to be focused on. For Brian, it's love, and for me, it's wisdom and knowledge.
But I
Uh,
do think sometimes we get sort of messages that conflict with each other because I do rather get other messages saying that we're always just walking quickly and you should stop and walk and just enjoy being in the present, enjoy everything instead of just walking with, you know what I mean? Do you remember that? I've got, we
Yeah,
had,
but I feel like that's different because that message was like not rushing, not to rush. Rushing is very bad. And I've got that message just repeatedly. So that is with the mechanics of walking. But this is more of like the purpose of what you're doing, which to me is
okay.
like, is different. And and yeah, and I'll bring this. I was going to talk to you about this, Brian. So Brian and I recently both got the opportunity to buy Olympic tickets, and I ended up not buying them. And I thought about it afterwards. And my modus operandi is wisdom and knowledge. And yeah, it'd be fun to go to some Olympic Games, but it doesn't really doesn't really burn in front of me. Like, because really my modus operandi is like greater understanding, greater wisdom, greater knowledge. So I really can see how that is aligned with it. And then I'll say again, these sacred places. Brian, I was thinking about you. So Brian, when he goes, he's mainly clairsentient and he can feel so much energy if he's in a sacred space. And Brian, I went to the cathedral that's in the city that I'm in right now. And oh my gosh, I mean, I just sit down in the pew and you can feel the energy. You can absolutely, and that's what I'm going to do every day here. If the church opens at 5, I'm going to walk in at 5 and sit down and soak up some of that good energy.
Yeah. Yeah. Those are, yeah, that's interesting. I mean, so, but I'm going to go on and continue. Now they have someone else coming in and talking about numerical phrases. So let's see what else they have to say. So we like in the previous sentence for numbers can indeed complete thought patterns. You have no understanding of our present state of mind. 1 plus 1 equals 3. This is a statement that you would decry as a fallacy. However, we would say it would depend upon the envisioned point in your perspective. If you are unable to see the third side, you would not acknowledge that 1 + 1 = 3, for the third side would be invisible. In this way, the linear objectives of your time cause great disruption to the fallacies that are presented as truths in your historic world. Interesting. So they said, now we're going to search for another analogy. Say you're making your beloved grandmother's cake. You know all the ingredients, you add them together, yet the cake is missing the sweet, delicious taste you come to know. What if one of the ingredients was obscured from your vision and you failed to add it to your mixing bowl? In this way, one must rise above the linear aspects of your space-time to achieve what is truly possible. Said they thank you for your time. So yeah, I get their meaning that if one aspect, if the 1 + 1 = 3, if the third side is not visible, then you know it's not, you won't be able to see that 1 + 1 = 3. But what did you think of this? I mean, the whole space-time in the linear fashion of our time, we've got these other messages that's only on Earth that that we have this linear time, that outside of Earth that they're not bound by this. And it's sort of mind-blowing to think about that you can see past, present, and future all at once, which is hard to grasp. But what are your thoughts on this?
Well, it's not a thought, it's a question. So as we move into the higher dimensions, I believe that time disappears because I
Correct.
think
Yeah.
it's only illusory in the third dimension. So as we go up in dimensionality, the time disappears. So yeah, and the one other thing that I'll say, and this is why I think it's so important to meditate or do lucid dreaming work, because yeah, that's the only way I can see. I won't even say in totality, because I don't think as a human you can see in totality, but I can see in a more complete way. Like I'll get a message in a dream and I'm like, oh, okay, well now I understand that. I can understand things in a deeper way because I could see it. I can see another side of the equation where I can't see it when I'm in it. And so, whether it be in meditation or through lucid dreaming work, you're able to like rise above and see your life from a bigger perspective. Would you agree?
Yeah. Yeah, that totally makes sense. It resonates with me too.
Yeah, so I'll go into the next one, which is a recent message from March 29th, 2026. The guidance for the coming dawn. We attend to thee, body and soul, as thy head rests among our joyful, loving presence. Relax, dearest one, as we entrust your well being into our joyous, everlasting circle. We entrust thee, brother, into our loving care, as we do those who listen or follow these words. We arrange thee. We are the arrangers for the coming eclipse of the dawn of this new era. We wish that humans recorded time in an accurate way. We shall say no more about this troubling subject. Now, Brian, this is where we'd be like, yeah, please,
Yeah.
please don't leave us hanging here. Please tell us more. Why are we not recording time in an accurate way? They go on to say, our errors arose from forecasting what had not yet occurred. We failed to see the divot that entrapped many. For this, we are truly apologetic. As you now realize, a divot is a small dent in the earth, yet this is one caught that has caught many, Be wise, dear children of earth. Rise above what seeks to entrap, snare, and pull you away from the everlasting true light source. We express gratitude for the intrinsic self and that of thy brother. What do you
I
think of that?
I mean, yeah, again, it usually asks more questions. I mean, I'd love to know, all right, we wish humans record time in an accurate way. We should say no more about the troubling subject. But what's this divot? I'm not understanding this analogy. Or we fail to see the divot that entrapped many, and they're apologizing for that. But what is the divot that entrapped many? I don't know what they're talking about. Do you have any idea?
I think it's time. I think it's time. I think that
Okay.
the divot is time. So it's like it seems innocuous. It seems innocuous. Oh, I'll check my phone. What time is it? It seems innocuous, but it's actually something that can really ensnare you into something that is not beneficial for your being. So we go back to the first channeling that we went to, that is really important not to look at, put a post-it note over the time on your phone. Don't, you know, I'm in a hotel room right now and I put clothes over the clock. Normally I unplug the clock, but I did not unplug this clock. I'm just putting clothes over the clock so I don't see the time. But yeah, I think it's something that can entrap you.
Interesting. Yeah. It's because it seems like the- it's sort of the opposite. Most people are so into their phones and whatever they're looking at that they like aren't obsessed with time. They're just like lose all sense of time and they're looking at their phones as they're walking down the streets, or I see it even like, walking downtown and walking crossing the street and looking at their phones and not looking where they're going. So it's just sort of interesting. But yeah, appreciate the message. So I'm going to go into our closing. This is from the great Albert Einstein, who said the distinction between the past, present, and future is only a stubbornly persistent illusion. So think about that. He was aware of this time issue back in his day. So that's pretty amazing.
Yeah. And I want to go on. This last channeling kind of mirrors what we're going to be talking about next week. Brian, do you want to talk about the podcast that you've prepared for next week?
Right. So the next one, I mean, I always tell Maureen I try and keep these messages pretty positive and stuff, but we've just been getting so many messages. And again, we've talked about this, the earth is going through this transformation. And so this, I just compiled all the different messages about this. So the next week's is called Before the Storm, Angelic Warnings for the Coming Days. And so this is talking about warnings that humanity is approaching a cosmic harvest or sorting and urging people to awaken and establish spiritual connections and prepare for this new era. So look forward to that one in your podcast feed next week.
Yeah, and a lot of it is positive. I mean, it's really Brian, I channeled one this morning. It was basically the same message, and it was saying that it was like the analogy was like you're like in this. I had this vision of like that we're in like these like a really roculent, turbulent sea, and you're like trying to swim to shore. Well, you could maybe swim. I don't know how strong of a swimmer you are, but in this kind of waves, like I don't know, maybe 45 minutes, maybe an hour, and that's it. But meanwhile, there's lifeboats all around you of these angelic beings who are willing to, raise you up. So it's not like a dire prediction, but again, a lot of urge to connect with the angels that are around you that can support you
Yeah, yeah.
and
And I think they're all the messages are the same. It's all good and it's nothing to fear at all. It's just
right.
it talks also about there's going to be some then there's some disruptions or something chaos in the world in the next few years as we go through this. But it's all good though, definitely. So it's not something that no one should be afraid of, but really be looking forward to actually.
Yeah. So thank you all for listening, and we'll talk to you next week.
Bye, everyone.